If you've ever felt overwhelmed by your life or wish you had a way to make sense of the world both around and within you, then you're not alone. In this video, I'll be exploring a technology that's helped us make sense of our world and our lives for hundreds of years, the paper notebook. Hi, I'm Ryder, and today I'll be reviewing the paper notebook as part of a series of videos on a topic I'm calling conscious computing. You can learn more about conscious computing in the previous videos that I've linked below. But the short version is that conscious computing is all about how we can use technology to help us live a better life. As part of this series, I'll be reviewing different kinds of devices and evaluating them according to the 5 criteria of the conscious computing scale. The 5 criteria are: inputs. How does this tech help me get information? 2. Throughputs. How does this tech help me capture and organize information? 3. Stayputs. How does this tech help me stay focused on that information? 4. Compute. How much thinking is done for me versus by me by the tech? 5. Outputs. How does this tech help me embody my intention? Each of these criteria exists on a scale from 0 to 10. The twist here is that they are dials. 0 means there's no technology, it's fully manual. 10 means it's fully technological, with little to no human intervention. Neither low or high tech is inherently good or bad, though. It's about finding the right Goldilocks zone based on your intention. My intention is to find tech that'll help me live a more intentional life. To me, that process begins by paying close attention to what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and what I'm doing. And one of the most powerful technologies for paying attention throughout history has been writing. And one of the most elegant platforms for writing are notebooks. So today, I'll be reviewing how the paper notebook as a technology can help anyone live a more intentional life. Before we get going, I want to state that this video will be sponsored by my own company, Bullet Journal. As opposed to a common belief, Bullet Journal, or BUJO, is not actually a notebook. It's a personal operating system. You can run that OS on any platform, but I highly encourage doing so in a notebook for reasons I'll explore shortly. So for this review, I will be using one of our own. Doesn't that mean that this review will be biased? Absolutely. This review ended up going to some pretty unexpected places. So if you're in the mood for something a little bit different, let's begin. Input. How does this tech help me get information? When it comes to writing about my life, I'm looking for a very low-tech solution. I don't want any notifications, feeds, inboxes, articles, or books. If anything, I want tech that actively blocks inputs from the outside world. I want to focus on what's inside, not outside. That's one thing I love about notebooks. They help me go offline. Once I'm offline, I can begin to bring what's inside me out onto the page so I can look at it clearly, often for the first time. Notebooks can function as paper mirrors, reflecting our inner world back at us. There, on the page, we can observe patterns in our thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and experiences that may have been hidden otherwise. When I sit down to reflect on my life, the only thing that I want to be inputting is what my past self had written. That's one of the main reasons why I only use and therefore make unguided notebooks. No structured prompts, no predefined sections. So there's not a lot to say in terms of pre-printed input in the notebook because there are none by design. So for inputs, I give our notebook a 1. It offers little to no information. It does, however, come with a bullet journal instruction booklet, but that can easily be tucked out of sight in the back pocket or simply given away. All other inputs have to be created by hand by you. Throughput. How does this tech help me capture and organize information? Here, I'm looking for a medium to high-tech solution. As the designer of this product, I thought this section would be the easiest part of the review, but it turned out to be the trickiest for reasons you're about to see. So for now, I'll divide the section into capture and organization. Let's begin with capture. I think the best tools are the ones that disappear, the ones that get out of your way so you can focus on the work. When it comes to capturing and distilling your thoughts, handwriting things into a notebook remains, for me, unsurpassed. No issues with battery life, connectivity, updates, bugs, crashes, syncing, sunsetting, subscription plans, data plans, or data loss. Well, as long as you don't lose your notebook. There's just pen, paper, and you. In the case of the bullet journal notebook, there are a bunch of very subtle features designed to make capturing even easier. Beginning with the paper itself, the notebook features this special sustainably sourced 120 GSM paper, which simply means that it works well for most inks with minimal ghosting. This nearly invisible feature alone sets it apart from most non-art journals on the market. It lets you express your thoughts with your writing tool of choice while keeping things neat and legible. Our notebook also includes 206 dot grid pages. I only use dot grids because they offer the flexibility of the blank page with the structure of a grid. It's kind of optional how you use it. And if you look closely, in that grid, you're going to see additional dots that help you quickly divide the page up into halves and thirds and more. Right at the front of the book, you'll also find an additional grid guide that will help you come up with more complicated layouts should you need them. The grid itself is framed by a generous margin. The negative space helps keep the text captured inside the grid much more legible and clean. It also provides more room for people who like to add elaborate titles or marginalia to their pages. It also allows you to rotate the notebook and use it in either orientation. All these features make things easier to capture. But how is it to organize information in a notebook? When it comes to organization, notebooks roughly fall into two different categories that I'll call fixed or fluid. Fixed are pre-printed with calendars, templates, prompts, or sometimes all of the above. Fluid notebooks like the ones that I make shed structure in favor of flexibility. Both have their pros and cons. Fixed notebooks offer a lot of structure and support. The compromise is that you have to shoehorn your life into these predetermined layouts. This also means that when you skip a couple days just because life doesn't care about your plans, you start to rack up all these blank pages. The noise of irrelevant prompts and the pressure and the constraints of fixed layouts were always deal breakers for me. Fluid notebooks are designed to reflect your needs. The compromise here is that they offer little to no support. And for many people, this can feel overwhelming. What should I write about? When? How do I organize that information? How do I find it again later? These are all really valid questions, especially when it comes to writing about your life. This is true for just about any platform really, but especially so for notebooks. Seen in this light, I have to confess that notebooks seem like a rather mediocre organizational tool in this day and age. They're either too fixed or too fluid, too demanding or too chaotic. This tension is what initially led me to create the bullet journal method. BUJO provides simple and flexible tools designed to help me quickly capture and organize my thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and experiences. Through the lens of conscious computing, I've begun to realize that BUJO itself is a technology, one that can transform any platform into a personal operating system. See, I had originally intended to leave bullet journaling out of this review, but without BUJO tools, I don't know how useful a notebook would actually be for me. With those tools, however, a notebook becomes so useful that I can't really imagine my life without one. So moving forward, I will continue to reference BUJO without turning this into some sort of tutorial. If you do want to learn more about the bullet journal method, I will link that below as well. Okay, let's keep looking at the organizational features in our official bullet journal notebook. Most of these features you can use whether or not you know how to bullet journal. The front of the journal has a key page indicating symbols that can help you quickly categorize your thoughts, feelings, actions, and events in real time. It also gives you a space to come up with your own should you need them and keep them nice and organized. The front also has an intentions page. See, I see every notebook as another chapter in my life, and the intention page is designed to help me define who I want to be for this next chapter of my life. It's kind of an anchor that grounds me. This frames my choices throughout the lifespan of the notebook. Next, you'll find 4 pages for the index, and you can think of this kind of as an address book for all of your ideas. You simply write down the topic and the page number so you can quickly find things again later. This can dramatically increase the searchability of the notebook. Next, you'll find the future log, which helps you quickly capture actions and events that will happen in the future. The rest of the notebook contains those dot grid pages that I mentioned, but each one of those also features page numbers and the page bullet. In combination with the index, the page numbers will help you quickly orient yourself in your notebook. The page bullet can be modified to quickly mark a page to indicate that it's complete, in process, important, or all of the above. This is a quick way to help you see what still needs your attention and what does not. There are 3 bookmarks in different colors. This can help you quickly jump around to the most active pages in your notebook. Personally, I use these to jump between my daily, weekly, and monthly logs. Finally, the notebook comes with a sticker sheet that can help you set up your pages for your months, calendars, and more really quickly. There are also sticker dots and bolts for highlighting specific things in your notebook or in your life. Want to remember to drink more water? Stick a bolt on your computer screen. They're just there to help you bring your practice out of your notebook. That sticker sheet and the guide that I talk about can quickly be tucked away into a pocket that's at the back of the notebook, which is also great for storing business cards and post-it notes and any small pieces of paper that you don't want to lose. All of these additional layers of organization were designed to be there when you needed them and invisible when you don't. Okay, So when it comes to throughput, I think I have to rate this section twice. One score with BUJO and one as simply a plain notebook. I'd give a standard blank notebook a 1 for throughput because all the organization besides the paper and binding itself is completely manual. With BUJO's tools and rituals and the extra built-in features of our official notebook, I rate the throughput at a 4. It strikes a near perfect balance for me between built-in benefits and manual effort. Yes, I would love a digital style search, backlinks between pages, and other tech-enabled features. But when it comes to writing about my life, distraction-free, I want to seal myself off from every possible tech rabbit hole that I can. Stayputs. How does this tech help me stay focused on the information? Here I'm looking for a very low-tech solution. When it comes to living a more intentional, mindfully productive life, Stayput is arguably the most important criteria. I want to be as distraction-free as possible. In this way, notebooks really deliver. The digital age offers ever more compelling ways to tune out. The roulette wheel of social media brain rot, the destabilizing flood of triggering misinformation, doom scrolling, endless notifications, all of it is taking us further and further away from ourselves and each other. There needs to be a way to tune back in. In order to do that, we need tech that does not depend on our willpower. I know that's true for me. If given the option, I will eventually succumb to all the distractions built into my digital devices. One of the greatest challenges with our devices is their larger ecosystem. No matter how powerful or intentional or minimal a single app may be, it's surrounded by countless others that aren't. Many of those being highly addictive dopamine dispensers. So every time you sit down with your device, you have to rely on your willpower to resist the apps that are built from the ground up to get your attention. And I don't know about you, but for me, that's simply unrealistic. This is why I don't use journaling apps, because when something I'm writing gets vulnerable, honest, and uncomfortable, I can magically find myself teleported 2 hours into the future at the end of some YouTube binge where I learned I don't even know what. When I open a notebook, it automatically creates a distraction-free space where I can simply stop and reflect on my life. What am I thinking? What am I believing? What am I doing? Are those things moving me towards or away from the life I want? What do I want? Admittedly, these are all big and important questions, and notebooks provide the perfect platform and environment to help me tune in and explore them one page at a time. That's why for Stayput, I rate notebooks at a 1. They simply provide a canvas for thought and very little else, at least as long as you don't go down the stationary rabbit hole, which is a subject for a separate video. Compute. When it comes to compute, I've been focusing on how much of the tech is being done for me versus by me. How much tech I needed here wasn't really clear to me when I started this review, and I think that's okay. The whole point of the conscious computing scale is to help figure out how to dial in technology for yourself, and that takes experimentation, ongoing, intentional experimentation. There is, however, an incredibly important middle ground that I haven't really talked about yet. How can I think better with technology? So far in this series, I've focused on tangible tech, but when it comes to living a more intentional life, it has little to do with tech that you can hold in your hands and everything to do with tech that you hold in your mind. I've learned many such technologies over the year that have helped me think more effectively, to compute more consciously, if you will. To name a few: journaling, meditation, first principles thinking, mindfulness-based stress reduction, nonviolent communication, acceptance and commitment therapy. These are all technologies of the mind, and they're kind of invisible. But these technologies all have an issue. I forget to use them. The bullet journal method, in many ways, is my solution to that problem. It's a reflection of the technologies I've developed and learned, synthesized into a sustainable practice. It keeps ideas you decide are valuable in play in your life. When I don't use it to compute my life, I can feel myself moving away from my life. When I do use it to compute my life, I find myself moving towards the life that I want. This is especially true when I practice BUJO inside a notebook for all the reasons that I mentioned above. So what would I rate the compute here? I think it would have to be a 5. When you pair BUJO's operating system with the environment of a notebook, there is a lot of technology helping me think, but none of it is thinking for me. To me, that's the ideal balance that I'm looking for. The sum is greater than its parts. Output. How well does this technology, the notebook, help me embody my intention? The whole point of conscious computing is to become more aware of what we want to build, to fix, to do. It's purpose before product. When it comes to living a more intentional life, there is an even deeper question at play. Who do we want to be? Over and over again, I return to the notebook to explore that question. And I've spent over 30 years practicing, developing, researching, and experimenting with new technologies to cultivate that awareness. And I did most of that using pen and paper. The result is what I call the bullet journal method. It's the most effective technology that I've ever encountered in helping me live a more intentional life. It's not a perfect life, but it's a much more meaningful and fulfilling one. So of course, I'm going to share that with you here, even though it may seem a little biased, which it totally is. So what do I rate the output of the notebook? For an intentional living tool, especially a tangible one, I think it strikes the perfect balance of a 5, for many of the reasons that I mentioned above. There's also one more sentimental reason that I think is important. It reads like a book. Much of our life is written one choice at a time. Some of those choices will move us towards the life we want, some will move us away. That's not the problem. And I have to keep reminding myself that no tool will fix that. The problem is not knowing which choice is which. That's what happens when we don't pay attention to our lives and keep choosing unconsciously. When writing about our life in a notebook, we can cultivate a conscious awareness of the choices that we made and their impact. Then, right next to it, you have a blank page inviting you to put that insight into action, to author the next part of your story. Especially when times are tough, there are few more motivating or hopeful technologies as simply turning to a new page. This little blank canvas is a gentle reminder that anything is possible and that I have a say in how my story unfolds. Every new page prompts me to consider how I want to live my life today. To me, that's some pretty powerful technology for living a more intentional life. And that's it for today. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel. If you like the way that I think, consider signing up for our weekly newsletter where I share my thoughts. Thank you for taking the time. See you in the next one.